Yes, sir.
Good morning to all. We have been studying about the revision of the change into the states of various uh, states like solid, liquid and gases. So we try to understand the change into the state by studying a graph for water, and then we have drawn a graph for water, that is the graph of temperature versus heat energy. You can see here we have written heat energy. So it is the graph of temperature versus heat energy, my dear students. This is how we write it and this is how we understand it. Now, my dear students, we want to study this graph in detail. So yesterday we have started studying this graph in detail. Let us revise it and then we will study further about this graph. If we really want to look at the graph, we can say that we have studied this graph by the temperature, uh, by the heat energy. So sometime when we give heat energy, the temperature increases. Sometime when we give heat energy, temperature does not increase, temperature remains the same. All such conditions we are going to study in detail from the graph. We will even study about the various points given in the graph, and then we may study about uh, the temperature and the position of the graph so that we can study it well with us. So now let us start studying from A. Actually, yesterday we have studied up to the point D. So let me give you a brief idea of this graph up to point D. We have started somewhere from point A. This point A is the representation of the solid state of water, which is an ice. The temperature of ice was below 0 degrees centigrade at that time, and that is why there was a negative centigrade or Celsius temperature at point A. As we move on, the heat energy is absorbed and the temperature increases. The ice which we have taken at point A was around 1 kilogram of ice. This 1 kilogram of ice have been taken from point A to the point B by giving the heat energy. When we give heat energy, the temperature of ice increases. As the temperature increases, the temperature becomes less and less negative. The time or the position we reach where the temperature become exactly zero. When the temperature of ice become exactly zero, we can say that we have reached to a point which is known as B. At point B, we have 1 kilogram of ice. Now, if slight energy is even given to the ice, 1 kilogram of ice present at point number B, suddenly there will be change of the state into the solid, and this solid ice turns or melts into the water. This point B is also known as the melting point of water. Now what happens if we keep on giving heat to the ice, 1 kilogram of ice, the ice turn into the water, and then we move towards from point B to point C. Whenever we are moving from point B to point C, for the movement we need to provide heat energy. When we provide heat energy, here from point B to point C, the temperature remains 0 degrees centigrade only, and more ice is converted into more and more water. Initially, or from point B to point C, we will have more ice and less water. At point C, let us assume that we have equal quantity of ice and water present. Even at point C, if we keep on giving the heat energy from point C to point D, more and more ice is converted into more and more water. Therefore, from point C to point D, we will have more water and less ice. When we keep on giving energy, we may reach to point D. At point D, we have full 1 kilogram of water. This full 1 kilogram of water present at point D is because of the heat energy that we have given from point B to point C to point D. Remember, my dear students, that even at point D, the temperature of 1 kilogram of water has not been increased. The temperature of 1 kilogram of water is still 0 degree centigrade. So now let us understand the same fact using this table. Please remember, my dear students, that at point D, the temperature is 0 degree centigrade or 273 Kelvin. So at point B, we have 0 degree centigrade temperature or 273 Kelvin. At point C, we even have 0 degree centigrade temperature or 273 Kelvin. At point D, even we have 0 degree centigrade temperature and 273 Kelvin. Remember, my dear students, that at point B, we had the 1 kilogram of ice. At point D, we have the 1 kilogram of water. And at point C, both water as well as ice exist simultaneously. So, between point B to point C, we have more ice and less water. Between point C to point D, we have more water and less ice. And point D, we have 1 kg water. Point B, we had 1 kg of ice. So from point B to point C, 1 kg of ice is completely converted into 1 kg of water without changing any temperature. Between point B to point D, the temperature does not change. During points B to C to D, we keep on giving heat, but the heat cannot increase the temperature. Now the question arises, where does this heat goes? From point B to point B to point D, we keep on giving heat, but still the temperature does not rise. Then where does this heat go? All that heat which we gave between point B to point D is utilized to convert 1 kilogram of water, 1 kilogram of ice into 1 kilogram of water. So all that heat which we gave between point B to point D is utilized to convert 1 kilogram of ice to 1 kilogram of water. At point B, we have 1 kilogram of ice, no water. The temperature is 0 degree centigrade or 273 Kelvin. At point D, we have 1 kilogram of water, no ice at 0 degree centigrade or 273 Kelvin. At point D, if we cool water, please remember this point. At point D, if we cool water, water starts to turn into ice. Point D is called the freezing point. Remember, at point D, if we cool the water, water starts to turn into ice. Point D is called the freezing point. Remember, my dear students, it is wonderful to note here that we have various points. These various points have same temperature, but these points are different. You can see here that point B we have only ice, and point B is called the melting point of water. We have point D where we have 1 kg of water. This point D is called the freezing point of water. Remember, the melting point of water and freezing point of water, this way they are different from each other. B is called the melting point of ice, whereas D is called the freezing point of water. This is how we differentiate, or this is how we understand the melting point and freezing point separately. B is the melting point, whereas D is the freezing point. It is now well understood, my dear students, that point B, C and D shows the same temperature. The temperature was 0 degrees centigrade or 273 Kelvin. Heat given between point B and point D is utilized to convert 1 kilogram of ice completely to 1 kilogram of water. Now we should understand that the heat given between point B and point D is utilized to convert 1 kilogram of ice completely to the 1 kilogram of water. So we have a new definition to learn. We have a new term to learn. This term is known as the latent heat of fusion. What is latent heat of fusion? Let us try to understand, my dear students. The amount of heat energy that is required to change 1 kilogram of solid into 1 kilogram of liquid at atmospheric pressure and at its melting point is known as the latent heat of fusion. I am repeating for you, my dear students, that the amount of heat energy that is required to change 1 kilogram of solid into 1 kilogram of liquid at atmospheric pressure and its melting point is known as the latent heat of fusion. Please learn this definition, my dear students, because it is one of the important definition, or it is one of the important term from your syllabus. Now at point D, we have 1 kilogram of water. After point D, if a small amount of heat is given, the temperature of water increases, or we can say that the temperature of water rises. As we keep on providing heat, the temperature keep on increases. We move towards the point E. Let us look into the figure so that, my dear students, we can understand it well. Now just have a look at this graph once again. I hope, my dear students, on your screen you have a graph. This graph is the graph of temperature versus energy. We have studied up to point D. Now what happens at point D, we start giving us, if we give even a small amount of heat energy, the water turns into the water vapor, the temperature of water increases. Up to point D, there was no increase into the temperature, but after point D, even if we give a small amount of heat, the temperature rises and we start moving from point D to point E. If we keep on giving energy, we move from point D to point E, my dear students, and the temperature of water, which is 1 kg water, increases and we move from point D to point E. Let us study further about the movement of point D to point E. Let us look at this. At point D, we have 1 kilogram of water. At point D, we have 1 kilogram of water. After point D, if a small amount of heat is given, temperature of water increases. As we keep on providing heat, temperature keeps on increases and we move towards point E. Let us study further. Let us study about point E, my dear students. At point E, we have 1 kilogram of water, but the water is warmer than 1 kilogram of water was present at point D. If we keep giving heat, the temperature keeps on increasing for 1 kilogram of water and we move from point E to point F. Let us look at point F, my dear students, and understand it. Let us study about point F. At point F, we have 1 kilogram of water, but the temperature of 1 kilogram of water is 100 degrees centigrade or 373 Kelvin. After point F, if we provide small heat energy, water starts boiling, and from the bulk of the liquid, the water turns to the steam or gas. Point F is called the boiling point of water. Boiling point of water is 100 degrees centigrade or 373 Kelvin, my dear students. So this is how we understand about point F. Now let us look at the graph and understand the same thing from the graph, the movement between the point D to point F. So let us understand about that change. We studied up to point D. Now at the point D, we start giving heat. As soon as we start giving heat to the 1 kilogram of water present at point D, suddenly the temperature of 1 kilogram of water increases and we start moving towards point E. If we keep on giving heat energy, the temperature also rises in the proportion of the heat energy that we provide to the water. A time comes when we reach to the point E. At point E, the temperature, we again have 1 kilogram of water. But the 1 kilogram of water which was present at point E has more temperature than the temperature which was present at 1 kilogram of water that was present at point D. At point D, the water, 1 kilogram of water which was present had a temperature of 0 degrees centigrade. But at point E, the temperature of 1 kilogram of water which was present at point E is more than 0 degrees centigrade. Now, my dear students, even at temperature E, we keep on giving heat energy. At temperature E, even if we keep on giving the heat energy, the temperature of 1 kilogram of water keep on rising. As the temperature of 1 kilogram of water keep on rising, we move towards the point F. So, as the temperature keep on increasing, the time comes that when the temperature of 1 kilogram of water reaches 100 degrees centigrade or 373 Kelvin. When the temperature of 1 kilogram of water reaches 100 degrees centigrade or 373 Kelvin, my dear students, we reach at point F. When we reach at point F, my dear students, we consider that point F which is having the temperature of 100 degrees centigrade or 373 Kelvin. At point F, we even have 1 kilogram of water. At point F, the temperature of 1 kilogram of water is 100 degrees centigrade or 373 Kelvin. At point F, even if a small amount of heat energy is given to this water, the water suddenly start boiling, and the water from the water from the bulk of the water start converting itself into the water vapor, into the steam, or the water into the gaseous form. And this is how, my dear students, we understand the process of boiling. At at point F, we have the temperature 100 degrees centigrade, and at this temperature, the water start boiling, and that is why the point F, which is considered as the boiling point of water. My dear students, the boiling point of water is 100 degrees centigrade or 373 Kelvin. So this is how, my dear students, we study about point F. Now we will study more about the movement of point F to the higher points. So we have studied about the point F at last. We have seen that, my dear students, that the point F for water is called the boiling point of water. Point F is called the boiling point of water. Boiling point of water is 100 degrees centigrade or 373 Kelvin. Remember, my dear students, that boiling is a bulk phenomena. Boiling, at the time of boiling, the water present into the bulk also is converted into the steam, and that is why it is not a surface phenomena, but at boiling or during the boiling, the water from the bulk even converted into the steam. A slight heat to water at point F turns into steam from the bulk. As we keep on providing heat, more and more water turns into steam and we reach at point G. Let us study about point G. At point G, both steam and water are present. Let us say both water and steam are equal in quantity at point G. Thus, between F and G, water is more and steam is less. But both steam and water are at 100 degrees centigrade or 373 Kelvin. My dear students, as we move from point F to point G, temperature does not increase, it remains same as the temperature which was at point F. Between point G and point H, steam is more and water is less, but both steam and water at 100 degrees centigrade temperature. So even between point G and H, the temperature does not increases and it remains same, which is 100 degrees centigrade or 373 Kelvin. At point G or even after point G up to point H, we keep on giving the heat energy, but the temperature does not increases. So please remember, my dear students, that if we start from point F and we move towards point H, even in between we get point G, the temperature completely remains constant. The constant temperature is 100 degrees centigrade or 373 Kelvin. This is how, my dear students, we study about the various points. Between point F and point H, the energy given to water is utilized to convert 1 kilogram of water to 1 kilogram of steam, but the temperature does not increase. Now we'll study about point H. At point H, we have 1 kilogram of steam. The temperature of 1 kilogram of steam at point H is 100 degrees centigrade or 373 Kelvin. Yet not increased, there is no water at point H. At point H, we have 1 kilogram of steam. From point F to point H, the graph is parallel to the heat axis. Heat is provided, but the temperature is not increased at all. All these 3 points, F, G, H, are at 100 degrees centigrade or 373 Kelvin. Energy provided between F to H is called the latent heat of vaporization. My dear students, let us read the definition of the latent heat of vaporization. We are going to study about the latent heat of vaporization, my dear students, and let us look at the latent heat, the definition of latent heat of vaporization. The latent heat of vaporization is the amount of heat energy that is required to change 1 kilogram of liquid or water into 1 kilogram of gas, that is steam, at atmospheric pressure and at its boiling point is known as the latent heat of vaporization. After point H, my dear students, a slight increase in heat will increase the temperature of 1 kilogram of steam. Thus, the heat provided is used to increase the temperature. At point I, my dear students, we can understand something that at point I, we have steam, which is 1 kg steam at temperature higher than the 100 degrees centigrade or 373 Kelvin. This is how, my dear students, we understand about the various points. Now, whatever we have studied, let us look at the graph and understand it once again. Now, let us have a look at this graph, my dear students. Let us look at this graph and start revising whatever we have studied just now. We have studied that the temperature, or we have studied about the point F. At point F, we have 1 kilogram of water. The slight increase into the temperature at point F will turn the water to turn into steam. As we move from point F to G, there is more water and less steam present between F to G. The temperature between F to G is 100 degrees centigrade or 373 Kelvin. At G, we have the equal quantity of water and steam present at point G. My dear students, from going to G to H, again the more and more water is converted into more and more steam, but both steam and water present between F to G, F to H. When we reach the point H, the total quantity of steam is 1 kilogram. So at point H, we have 1 kilogram of steam. Even at point H, the temperature of steam is 100 degrees centigrade or 373 Kelvin. My dear students, between the point F to H, the temperature does not increase. The temperature always remains the same, that is 100 degrees centigrade or 373 Kelvin. Here, if you look into the bottom of the graph, you can see that I have written latent heat of vaporization. You can see that the graph between F to G, you can see that the graph between F to G, my dear students, that the heat provided, but the temperature does not increases. So this, where does this heat go? This heat is used for conversion of the 1 kilogram of water to the 1 kilogram of steam completely. This heat provided is known as the latent heat of vaporization. So the definition of latent heat of vaporization, let us repeat it once again, my dear students, that the latent heat of vaporization is the amount of heat energy that is required to change 1 kilogram of liquid into 1 kilogram of gas at the atmospheric pressure and at its boiling point. And this is how, my dear students, we can understand about the latent heat of vaporization. Now we have been at point H. Now at point H, my dear students, the scene changes. Now at point H in the graph, as you can see on your screen, the graph has been shown, my dear students. At point H, we have 1 kilogram of steam, and if we provide heat, the temperature of steam increases, the temperature keep on increases as we keep on providing heat, and we reach the temperature I. At temperature I, my dear students, we have only steam present, which is 1 kilogram of steam, but the temperature of that steam is more than 100 degrees centigrade or 373 Kelvin. This is how, my dear students, we understand about the various points into the graph. Now, my dear students, if we keep on cooling, if we start cooling from point I, we come to point H, and as soon as we reach to point H, we have 1 kilogram of steam. Now, if we suddenly decreases the temperature or decreases the heat energy, the steam start converted into water from H. So please remember that from point H, the steam start converted into water, and if we keep on decreasing the heat, at point F, we get again the 1 kilogram of water. So point H and point F are different, though they have the same temperature, 100 degrees centigrade or 373 Kelvin. The boiling start at F, but the conversion of steam to water start at point H. So this is how we have understood about this graph. Now, my dear students, if you have any doubt, you can ask me and we can discuss about all these points. So now, my dear students, you are free to ask the questions regarding this graph. I am stopping the sharing of the screen now with you. So now you can talk to me, you can see me, I am on the video, and if you have any doubts, you can ask. अगर आपको कोई डाउट है तो पूछ सकते हैं बच्चों. चैप्टर 1 और चैप्टर 2 यहाँ पे आपके कंप्लीटली खत्म होते हैं, और ये दोनों चैप्टर आपको अच्छे से लर्न करने चाहिए. अगर आप अब कुछ पूछना चाहते हैं तो आप मुझसे पूछ सकते हैं प्यारे बच्चों. ये जो आज मैंने पढ़ाया उसमें कुछ समझ में नहीं आया हो, और कोई बात आपको मुझसे पूछनी हो तो आप मुझसे पूछ सकते हैं. सेजल बहन, आपको पूछना है? शिल्पा बहन, आपको कुछ पूछना है? निर्भय कटारा, आप कुछ पूछना चाहेंगे? वैभवी, कुछ पूछेंगे बेटा? वैभवी?
नो सर.
कुछ भी नहीं, सब कुछ समझ में आ गया बेटा?
नो सर.
वेरी गुड.
नो सर.
कुछ समझ नहीं आप पूछ सकते हैं। आपको ये पीडीएफ भी सारे भेज दिए गए हैं। अब कल से ना मैं रिवीजन स्टार्ट करूंगा, तो पहले चैप्टर से पहली पीडीएफ से आपको अलग अलग पीडीएफ भेजना फिर से स्टार्ट कर दूंगा, ठीक है ना। और आप लोग वो जो पीडीएफ उनको अगर आपने नहीं लिखा तो अच्छे से नोट्स बना लीजिए, उसको अच्छे से पढ़िए, सारे चैप्टर की एक्सरसाइज और इंडेक्स लिखिए। मैंने जो एक्स्ट्रा प्रॉब्लम्स दिए हैं वो प्रॉब्लम सॉल्व कीजिए, एक्स्ट्रा प्रॉब्लम्स की प्रैक्टिस कीजिए, अच्छी अच्छी जो टर्म्स हैं उनको लर्न कीजिए और अच्छे से पढ़ाई करते रहिए। अब हमारे पास टाइम भी ज्यादा नहीं है, अदरवाइज तो मैं भी थोड़ी सी क्विज अरेंज करता था, बट हार्डली वी हैव 2 to 3 मिनट्स लेफ्ट विद अस। क्या आपको कुछ पूछूं, कुछ थोड़ा क्विज करूं क्या? चलिए थोड़ा क्विज करते हैं, थोड़ा क्विज करेंगे तो मजा आएगा शायद। देखिए यहाँ पे आपको स्क्रीन पे दिख रहा है बच्चों?
यस सर।
दिख रहा है? चलिए 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 थोड़ा क्विज कर लेते हैं। लेट अस स्टडी अबाउट दी फ्यू थिंग्स। चलिए बच्चों ये क्विज पढ़ते हैं। ये आ गई आपकी क्विज। चलिए क्वेश्चन नंबर मैं पढ़ता हूं आपके लिए और आपको मुझे आंसर देने हैं। क्वेश्चन नंबर 7 पढ़ते हैं। Which of the following material falls in the category of pure substance? चलिए बताइए। Is ice, क्या आइस प्योर सब्सटेंस है? क्या आइस प्योर सब्सटेंस है?
यस
यस सर।
देखिए हमारे केमिस्ट्री में प्योर सब्सटेंस का अपोजिट होता है मिक्सचर। तो जो मिक्सचर नहीं है वो प्योर सब्सटेंस है। तो आइस मिक्सचर नहीं है इसलिए प्योर सब्सटेंस है। मिल्क बताइए, मिल्क प्योर सब्सटेंस है कि मिक्सचर है?
मिक्सचर।
कौन से टाइप का मिक्सचर है मिल्क? मिक्सचर है वेरी गुड, कोलॉइड है। वेरी नाइस वेरी नाइस। लेट्स लुक एट द नेक्स्ट क्वेश्चन। आयरन, आयरन क्या है, मिक्सचर है कि प्योर सब्सटेंस है?
यस मैन।
आयरन वेरी गुड वेरी गुड, आई एम सो हैप्पी। चलिए बताइए हाइड्रोक्लोरिक एसिड, हाइड्रोक्लोरिक एसिड
मिक्सचर।
नहीं बेटा, हाइड्रोक्लोरिक एसिड तो प्योर सब्सटेंस है, वो तो कंपाउंड है, वो मिक्सचर नहीं है। हाइड्रोक्लोरिक एसिड को हम HCl बोलते हैं ना। हाइड्रोक्लोरिक एसिड जो है वो प्योर कंपाउंड है, वो HCl के मॉलिक्यूल हाइड्रोक्लोरिक एसिड के मॉलिक्यूल से बना हुआ होता है, वो एक ही प्रकार के पार्टिकल से बना हुआ होता है, इसलिए वो मिक्सचर नहीं है।